Chapter 9. Lian. We stand outside the carriage as one of the guards ties my hands behind my back with a gilded rope and then shoves me inside. I feel the burn of the rope and realize it's a Khazari lasso. It feels like he tied me with a rope made of fire. Lian sits next to me in the carriage while two of the guards sit outside in the front and the other two stand outside in the back. She turns her face to the window, avoiding me. I know the ride should take around 8 hours. That is how close the two capitals are. 8 hours before I'm turned in to my father. The last time I saw him was before I left for the wedding camp. The wedding was to be a small ceremony of union between the two kingdoms, Aldon and Khazari. It was meant to be officiated by a Khazari priest, and 2 witnesses were to confirm it took place. No guests, no party. This is the practice of the Khazaris, and the Khazari king insisted on it, and the ruler of Amada acquiesced. He was that desperate for the wedding to take place. It was the first time my father had spoken to me in 13 years, since the day he took Nicanor away. Not that we ever had long conversations, but I wasn't ignored. The day before I left for the wedding camp, I was called to the throne room for the first time in my life. The king of Aldon, Rod, sat on the throne, and the high priest, Rashken, stood at his right side. My brother, Nicanor, stood at his left. They both stared ahead, not acknowledging my presence with their eyes. My guardian was genuflected behind me. A statue of Sun was behind my father's throne, looming over him, staring me down with its cold stone eyes. The king looked ill, his face wan. Even I had heard the whispers of his decreasing health, but he sat tall, with the crown on his head and the golden royal ring on his bony finger. He explained his expectations of me in a cold voice, an air.
Do not show your face here until you give birth to his son. Do not bother to give birth to a daughter. He already has many, he told me, as if one can choose the sex of her child. Please him. Don't give him an excuse to send you back. I tell you, girl, whatever you will endure from him, if you return without a son, you will endure far worse. Do not dare to be like your mother, girl. He is not as compassionate as I am. Forget that witch's blood. Beg for Sun to forgive you for your vanity. Do you hear me? Remember your place. Act like an Aldonian woman and not a Renyan whore. Am I clear? Answer me. What are you to do?
His voice was not loud, but it echoed in the empty, cold hall, and I was grateful my brother wouldn't meet my eyes. It made it easier to pretend this humiliation had no witnesses. I wish I hadn't answered him. I wish I had rebelled or given an answer of defiance, proof of a backbone. Maybe it's the Nematek that made me so docile, or maybe it's loneliness. But in front of the man who sired me, only to be disappointed with it, all I managed to say in a trembling voice was, "To please him and give him a son, Your Grace." Hearing me articulate his desire released some of his tension. He seemed more reconciled with me.
Thank Sun that he doesn't care for your colors, he sighed. It is crucial you succeed, girl. Aldon's prosperity lies with that Khazari son of a bitch.
I never understood their relationship. My father is the only king in Amada with an army. Yes, the Khazaris are notoriously rich, and yes, their kingdom is in a mountainous area, thus more easily defensible from an Aldonian invasion. But still, why is he so dependent on their gold? And why can't he make them cooperate with him? There are far more Aldonians than Khazaris. It makes no sense that he tries so much to please their king. Now I'm to return with no son, not even married, and after choosing not to kill myself in Mongan captivity. There can be no reprieve, not even if my father cared, and he doesn't. This future is delivered by the women of my family. The part of my family I have always loved, always admired. My father has never bothered to pretend he cared for me, that he would ever consider me to be more than a means to an end. And that is why sitting here, tied up under my sister's watch, hurts worse than anything my father has ever done to me. Because as desperate as I was for his love, I always knew he didn't love me. And yet Lian is not only my sister. She was once my best friend, my confidant, my ally in a life dominated by my father's whims. I must do something. I must find a way to run before we reach Aldon. If I arrive in Aldon, I will burn to death. There is no question. There is something dark between my sister and my aunt, and the way Tilil spoke of my mother, with such malevolence. I say more to myself than to my sister, who buries her head at the window. I don't remember Mother being vain. I mean the way Tilil portrayed her. It wasn't at all the way I remember her. In fact, she was the humblest person I've ever met. She was always so good to everyone. She always treated royals and servants with the same respect. Did I just idolize her as a child might do with their parents? Is it my imagination? I ask my sister. Then Lian looks me straight in the eye for the first time since Tilil ordered her to escort me to Aldon. Her young teenager's face is lamenting. Do you remember Father taking Nicanor? Do you remember we hid in the closet but could see everything through the screen? I stare at her, not sure how to answer. I know Nicanor was taken, but that's not the same as remembering it. You were there. We were hiding together. He was 6 at the time and you were 9. You were old enough to remember, she says with sudden vehemence. It is startling, given her demeanor since I found her again. It's vague. There are a lot of things I don't remember, I tell her. My memory still feels perforated most of the time. It's probably the Nematech. It can erase a lifetime of memories. She sighs and turns back to face the window. How do you know of the Nematech? I can't help but bristle. How is it that everyone knows what was done to me and I was the only one ignorant of it? They give it to almost all the royal girls until they get married. Haven't you paid attention to the preachers? A woman is born first as a baby, she grows into a girl, and on her wedding day she becomes a woman. Lian's impression of Rashkin, the high priest, is frighteningly accurate. Alas, the few years before her marriage can be trying years. The womb is starting to develop, yet it is not yet fulfilling its fertility purpose. This time is a hotbed for hysteria. The womb attempts to take the power of the girl's mind from the man responsible for her, her father. She ends the reciting in huffs. Did you actually manage to forget that bullshit? I envy you. Maybe the Nematech has some advantages. No, I do remember. I heard these lectures frequently, especially as the wedding approached. But what does that have to do with the Nematech? Rashkin never mentioned Nematech. No one ever did. It's their treatment for what they call hysteria, which is a code name for a woman having a mind of her own. It's extremely effective. It makes you numb and meek, yet still able to function as they wish you to. Mother spilled mine every day and made Father believe I took it. There's a lump in my throat as her words of our mother's protection hit me. How everything could have been different if she hadn't died. Try to remember, she pleads with me, imploring me to recall the night my brother was taken. Why is this so important to her? Why is this the only thing that seems to touch her? We were baking an apple cake. She sounds so dejected at that, as if the fact that we once baked an apple cake is heartbreaking. I guess it is, in a way. In that way of moments being lost so completely that you know in your bones you will never get to relive them. But remembering that moment, the scent of that apple cake in the oven, the scent of cinnamon too, it opens a hidden door in my mind. I'm in the closet, Cian's hand covers my mouth so tight that I can barely breathe. The top half of the door is hand-carved with flowers, and I can see everything outside through the slits. My mother holds Nicanor, hugging him tightly, and he wraps himself around her with his little hands and legs. My father is pulling him. Nicanor is crying, calling my mom. She tries to grab him again. Rod is furious. I've never seen him like this before. He was always cold and distant, but not violent. He hands Nicanor to one of his men, who just stand there, and then he hits my mother. Hard. Her face is bloody now. I hear her whimper. It's mine. Cian tightens her hand on my mouth. My mother is on the ground, and he kicks her. She is curled up, and he doesn't stop. Then he grabs her by the hair and shouts in her face. What did you think would happen when I learned that you taught my son witchcraft? Or did you just assume I'm too stupid to find out? Do you know how I found out? And he laughs domineeringly. You are the stupid one, Rutana, not me. This memory is so vile that there was no wonder why it escaped me. After my mother died, I saw my brother a few times on public occasions. He was always at my father's side and never acknowledged my presence. I never dared to approach him. What was it like for Nicanor to grow up in my father's care after that day? He was so attached to my mother. She spent so many hours with all of us, playing, teaching, and loving. Does he remember her? Or did he prefer to forget as well? How did he find out she taught us Renyan healing? I ask, but my sister remains facing the window and she doesn't answer. As if all she wanted was not to carry that memory alone, and now that we share it, she wants nothing more to do with me. I think all three of us are lonely. We were deprived of not only our mother, but also our siblings. We were left under the care of people who never cared for us at all. All of Rutana's children became means to an end. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope it only happened to me. After all, Nicanor's hair is red, and he is a man. Perhaps Rod truly loves him, truly values him. And for Cian, my aunt cared enough for her to bring her back from the dead. Didn't she? I have no idea how she did it, but I guess it means she cared. You know, it's strange, I say to Cian. This Khazari lasso, it burns badly, but it's not so bad as the Mongan described it to me. He said that not only is it the worst pain, but it is as if someone has put a blanket of despair on you, and you lose the will to fight or even live. Her voice is flat, her face still at the window as she answers. That's because they contain the cursed one's horns. It affects them differently. My breath is tight all of a sudden. How would one get Mongan horns to begin with? And to chain the Mongans with the remains of their people? Such callousness. Dayton's harsh words come back to me. And why would Cian know this? Is it common knowledge? Wait, is this how Talil brought you back from the dead? Is that why you still look 16? Are you using some kind of Renyan healing involving Mongan horns? I ask her. She looks at me then. Her eyes simmer with anger. Don't you dare judge me. Her voice is harsh. I was dead. You have no idea what that's like. She didn't ask me if I wanted to come back. It's not as if anyone has ever given me a choice. I frown at her. So if they bring you back to life, you're stuck at the age you died? I don't know. Just shut up, Cian snaps. But I won't drop this. So you're still using them? Don't you... The carriage stops as I'm mid-sentence. I can hear the soldiers talking while climbing down from the carriage. But as they get farther away, there is an unnatural silence. Cian opens the door and goes down to see what caused them to stop, leaving the carriage open. But she doesn't return. I push my way out of the carriage slowly. Every movement burns where the lasso touches my skin. Farther down the road, Cian and the guards are standing with their backs to me. All 5 of them are looking at something I can't see. They are all quiet and stand still as if frozen. I go farther down the road to get a better look, and then I see it. Body parts of Aldonian soldiers are scattered on the ground. It is the most horrific and violent scene I've ever witnessed. I can tell the body parts belong to Aldonian soldiers by their blood-drenched uniforms. The men themselves are impossible to identify, since most of them are missing. It's hard even to estimate how many bodies there are. The dismembered bodies are dispersed in 10 feet radii. I spot an ear close to me, then a finger. A few feet from me lies something like a half-eaten head. Everything is quiet, but for the sound of one of the guards vomiting. I can't hear even a single bird. Lian clears her throat and says in a determined voice, "Back to the carriage. We can still cross this road." The guards look at one another as if waiting for one of them to gather his courage to defy her. But they head back to the carriage without a word. "Have you all lost your minds?" I cry out. "What if what did this is farther down the road? We can't go back to Renya without completing our mission, and we have our armed guards with us for protection," Lian answers brusquely. I stare at her in bewilderment. She looks just as she did before she got sick, yet I don't know her at all. How can she be so calm about delivering me to my death? She stands tall and looks me straight in the eye, challenging me to defy her. Her royal cape is deep blue with silver strings reaching the ground. She looks like a proper Renyan princess, one I can never look like. Beyond her lies blood, gore, and death, yet she seems like an island of tranquility. It's a mask of calmness. She was never calm. She was always so easily frightened, so profoundly loving, more so than all of us. I wonder again why my aunt has such control over her. While we rode in the carriage, I saw her pain. It was so palpable. The memory of my mother and brother haunts her still. And these body parts are scattered around. It looks as if something preyed on these men. And whatever it wasn't natural. The guards appear utterly terrified. And yet she is more scared of my aunt. "At least untie me. I can't protect myself like this," I say. I can't believe I need to press her in this way. "I can't see how you can protect yourself from whatever did this untied as well," she answers wryly and walks past me to the carriage. I reluctantly follow her. "Now you are taking both of us to our deaths," I implore, but I get no reaction from her. At first, the horses are reluctant to ride ahead, but the guards whip them violently until they cooperate and pull the carriage. Even so, our ride stops after just a few minutes. The horses are now bucking in fear, screaming loudly. "Release me, Lian. I will not run from you. May the goddess strike me if I lie." What a strange thing it is to have the goddess on my tongue again. My mother was very religious, even under the supervising eyes of the king of Aldon, the head of the true religion. And I remember now how we prayed secretly to the goddess. She told us, "Son is our punishment, girls, and we shall endure him and pay for our sins. But our souls are gifts of the goddess. We are the daughters of the goddess. Son is childless." I can see Lian's thoughts battling in her mind. She doesn't trust me, but something horrible is approaching us, and she can no longer deny it. She unties me quickly and wordlessly. Then she is out of the carriage, calling to the guards. It is a great relief to be free of the burning sensation. When I look at my wrists, I'm surprised to see no burn marks. No sign whatsoever of the feeling of my skin being scorched, which I endured for hours. I follow Lian outside the carriage against every instinct I have. In front of the carriage, Lian and the guards stand as if paralyzed. And when I see it, my legs are also glued to the ground. Because what we all see is impossible. It is impossible because the Aldonian army exterminated the demichads in the War of Light. The war that made Aldon the nation that rules all others also made Renya and Kozari submit to the true religion, disarm and relinquish all aspirations for independence. The War of Light was the triumph of Amadans over the darkness, over the man-eating monsters, the demichads. They have been extinct for 100 years, but not before eating and preying on a third of the population of Amada. Families vanished, and so did whole villages and towns. No one was spared. It didn't matter how old you were, how wealthy you were, what language you spoke, or what god you worshipped. Once they got close, you ended up as their meal. The demicad stands solitary in the middle of the road. It is more horrific than the drawings I've seen, and it reeks of death and decay. It has the body of a man, or at least the body of a skinless man. Its flesh is raw, and all its muscles are visible. There are hundreds of earthworms traveling on it and inside it, yet it seems unbothered. Long claws extend from its fingers. The head is very inhuman. It has 2 little eyes that look like black beads, and the rest of its face is a huge mouth full of sharp teeth. It looks directly at me, only at me. In their despair, the guards draw their swords, a useless thing to do. Running is also useless. That is, if the stories of the demichads are true. They are the strongest and fastest predators in all of Amada. They attack in a great mass, thousands of them at once, and devour complete villages in several minutes. But here stands only one of them. Is it alone? Is it the last one of its kind, saved somehow from the great Aldonian crusade? The demicad's tiny eyes are fixed on me still. "Hello," I say in a shaky voice because I have no better idea. But when I speak, I feel a strange, delicate vibration in my body, like there are dozens of butterflies flying outside me. "What are you doing?" Lian whisper shouts at me through ground teeth. "We must run." But running is pointless. This is what killed the Aldonian soldiers we just saw. It devoured them. The demicad tilts its head at me curiously. Its mouth is not moving, yet there is a vibration in its body, and I can feel its ripples inside me. "You speak our language. Prey doesn't speak our language," it responds, sounding puzzled. I can feel Lian and the guard staring at me in astonishment. I tell myself to keep talking. I don't know what good it will do. I don't understand how I can communicate with this ghastly creature. First the direwolves, and now this. Is the Nematech responsible for this? I don't have the first clue about this bizarre situation. I guess it means I'm not prey. I try to sound steady, the opposite of the dread I feel. My body vibrates again as I speak. The demicad keeps staring at me as if contemplating my words. "Weren't you made extinct 100 years ago?" "How can prey make the predator extinct? You are so weak and fragile. We were merely asleep in our burrows. We ate, we bred, and we slept. We ate a lot of prey. We were full. We bred and fell asleep. Now it is time to eat again. Soon they all will wake up," it tells me. Cold sweat covers my body as the meaning of its words hits me. Aldon didn't win. It was a lie. They made everyone believe they had saved Amada, but the demichads just had enough to eat. And now they are returning. If no one managed to defeat them, Sun and the goddess, neither can help us if they are back. "How many will wake up?" I ask, trying to buy us time. To what end, I can't say.
Many. There was a lot of breeding after the last meal.
Many? More than before? But that means more will die this time. When will they wake up? I ask.
Enough talking. I am hungry.
Its head is not tilted anymore. Its body gains alertness that wasn't there before. You can't eat us! I could feel its patience running out. You said it yourself. Prey doesn't speak your language, and therefore I am not prey. It seems to contemplate my words. Its head is tilted once again.
True.
It vibrates its answer.
But they don't speak our language,
it says, nodding at Lian and the guards.
They are prey. Now I eat.
And without another word, it leaps at one of the soldiers at an unnatural speed. I throw myself over Lian and drop her to the ground. I lie on top of her, covering her as best I can. At first, I hear their screams. Splashes of their blood hit me as the demicad punctures their main arteries. Then the screams stop, and there is only the sound of the demicad chewing, of it tearing their flesh. All the while, the horses are frantically screaming, kicking at the ground as they try to flee. But the guards have secured them to a big tree, and their efforts are fruitless. When the demicad finishes eating the guards, it turns to the horses and preys on all 4 of them. I'm too frightened to move. I barely breathe, my face pressed to Lian, and I don't dare to raise it. I feel Lian trembling under my body in fear. When the demicad finishes its feast, it disappears into the ground. It said it lives in burrows. They were underground all these years, sleeping, and now they are awake. Lian and I are alone amid body parts, covered in blood and gore. The silence is so complete I can hear only my heartbeat. All life fled from here. No birds sing, no insects hum. I am drenched in blood. My face, hand, hair, dress, all are red. If I don't wash it off, I will lose my sanity. I stand up and watch Lian. She is less bloodied than I am because I sheltered her with my body. She remains in a fetal position on the ground and whimpers quietly. I think she's in a state of shock. I put my hands on her back. The demicad choosing to spare us is a miracle I can't understand. But there is no time to dwell on it or let the terror of what happened set in. We are already in Aldan. The demicad can come back, or Aldonian soldiers can find us. Look at me, Lian. Look into my eyes. Breathe, I say to her. She complies, her eyes watery and her face stricken with terror. I take a couple of deep breaths, and she mimics me. Slowly she relaxes and takes several deep breaths. But then she lets out a piercing scream. Her eyes are focused on something behind me. Did the demicad return?